It is a brand new week and we are going to start putting some of what you know about division and multiplication now to work. Today we work with what is perimeter, and we will answer the question, what is perimeter and how is it calculated? Well, perimeter is the distance around a space or a figure. Go ahead and stop the video and jot that into your notebook. So what's it used for? Well, it's for finding the distance of things. How much fencing would I need to build the pen for our little corgi friend there? And the first thing I would need to know is A, what shape am I working with? And B, how long is each side of that shape? Well, our question asks, how much fencing would be needed to build this? The pen is a regular hexagon. Each side is 4 feet long. So if it says each side is 4 feet long, we have one 4-foot long side right here identified already. This is also 4 feet. This is also 4 feet. And that, and that, and that. So sensibly, if I wanted to buy a section of fence here, that's 4 feet. A second section would be 8 feet. A third section would be 12. A fourth section would be 16. A fifth section would be 20. And a sixth section would be 24. I added each of the sides. By the way, a regular polygon is a polygon that has congruent or equal sides. Stop the video again and jot that down as well. It's important. Now, what was my total? 24 feet. So if I wanted to build that corgi pen, I would need 24 feet of fencing. By the way, another way of showing which sides are congruent is by using little hash marks, and these are pretty important too. In fact, when you get into high school, your teacher will tell you that without these hash marks you cannot prove that sides are congruent. Now we're looking at a square, and you know that squares have all the equal sides, so we will put that side is equal to that side is equal to that side is equal to that side. And I show that by having a single hash mark on each side. Well, here's a rectangle, and you can see that one pair is congruent and the other pair is congruent, but not to the first pair. So that side is congruent with that side. But this side is a different length, but it's also congruent to that side. So what this tells me is these two are equal and these two are equal. Here's an equilateral triangle. So knowing that it's equilateral, that side and that side are congruent, and they're also congruent with that side. But here's an isosceles triangle. This side is congruent with that side, but not with this side. So that's how those hash marks work. A lot of perimeter problems involve fencing or wallpaper border, which is so 1980s. It was really a big thing then, or crown molding. If it goes around the edge of something, we're dealing with perimeter. And I added a picture here because I'm not sure, since border has been out for a while, that you even know what we're talking about when we say wallpaper border. But that's what it is. See the little pink wallpaper going along the chair rail there? Okay, so if the little girl's room is 12 feet wide and 14 feet long, how much border is required? So she has a room that's 12 by 14. Well, it's a rectangle. We'll assume that if this is 12, this is 12. And if this is 14, this is 14. So now I want to add them up. 12 plus 12 plus 14 plus 14. 12 plus 12 is 24. 14 and 14 is 28. And we just need to add 24 and 28. 8 and 4 is 12, carry 1. We need 52 feet of wallpaper border. Well, let's keep with the same room. Let's work with the numbers 12 and 14. Okay, that means if this is 12, this is 12, and if this is 14, this is 14. And this time I have the hash marks to prove it. There are a number of ways that we could do this. We could do side plus side plus side plus side, which would be 12 plus 14 plus 12 plus 14. And we've already established that that's going to give us 52. But there are other ways of working that out. Usually if I'm doing this, I would take 12 plus 14 and then multiply that by 2. So 12 plus 14 is 26. 26 times 2 is 52. So some people do it adding this and that and then doubling it because it reflects that and that. Some people would do it 2 times 14 plus 2 times 12, which is the same thing here as here. But the formula for that would be 2 side plus 2 other side. Okay? There are lots of different ways of approaching it, but in the end, what we're really doing is adding all the way around. Sometimes you get a question like this. The measure of one side of the square is 3 feet. What is its perimeter? And some people have a heart attack. Wait a minute, you only gave me one side. Well, there's two important things to remember. A, you've got these hashtags here that tell you that all the sides are equal. Secondly, it's a square. If one side is 3, the other sides are all 3. Hello? So I could just say 3 times 4 sides equals 12. Or I could do 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, since multiplication is just repeated addition. But when they talk about squares, remember, it's a square. All the sides are the same. Let's quick take a look at a very different sort of shape. This is an irregular pentagon. If a regular polygon has congruent sides, an irregular polygon has sides of varying lengths. This one has a couple of sides that are congruent, or pieces of sides that are congruent, but obviously it isn't all the way around. So in this case, I really am just going to kind of have to add them up as I go. Here are two sides that are each 3 feet. So we'll add 6 feet. Here are two sides which are each 4 feet. So we'll add in our 8 there, plus 2 7/75 of another foot. Well, 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 plus 2 is 16. The perimeter of this figure is 16 7/75 feet. It's important you label what it is. If you don't, I don't know if it's a tiny 16.75 millimeter or a giant 16.75 mile pentagon. I mean, heck, for all I know, you're measuring in pickles. So, what did we do today? We talked about what perimeter is, and it's the distance around a figure or a space. And how is it calculated? Adding the sides, but there's a number of different ways of doing that. We will get on with that tomorrow. Have an awesome afternoon.